You explore those darker, more dangerous aspects of yourself that we all have in us, and that we're all busy trying to keep under control, so we can go out and live with, be with other people, and go to work, and raise children, or whatever it happens to be.
I always love a vampire story. What intrigued you most about the Radleys when the script came your way?
The best vampire movies are metaphors often for, things in our own lives. This deals very, I think, very compellingly with addiction. We've got a family in a comedy setting, by the way. The film is sort of darkly comic all the way through. And, we've got a family who are living this very kind of conservative suburban life. They're trying to get on with their lives. And you realize suddenly there's a main event. Suddenly I won't know what it is. And you realize that they are essentially vampires in the program, trying to live a normal life. And, but this thing happens, all hell breaks loose. And then the only person that can deal with it is the one vampire they know, who is still an active vampire and retains all his vampire powers. So is like a, sort of secret weapon. And that is the dad's, Peter's twin brother, Will. And the twin brother, Will, comes in, and then he's necessary. He helps them get over this hurdle, but then he wreaks total havoc and chaos. And I get to play these two brothers. So that was a big pull, playing the rational, controlled, socialized, societal guy, and this out and out bad boy who is just committed to the night and to blood sucking. So that was fun. But deep in there is a film about addiction and about love, and about where there is a lack of love, carnal desires take over, and an exploration, coming of age story with the two young kids in it, and about a marriage trying to hold itself together. So there's a lot going on.
Well, and it was very fun seeing all the differences between your portrayals of Peter and Will. How much of those personality traits were on the page, and how much did you just have to work out in prep?
It was a really good script by Talitha Stevenson. It was a good adaptation of the original source material, the novel. Largely, it was there. I use animals when I'm acting. I always try and find animals for each of my characters. And I knew that Peter, the dad, repressed, was sort of like a stiff stalk, had lost all his real emotional self, didn't really know who he was anymore. And is pale and unhealthy, by the way. That's the irony of the whole thing. Guys who are in the program and not sucking blood anymore, they feel unwell. They're not able to fully express themselves, which is another part of this movie about how are we our best selves? How do you fully find who you really are, and then fully express that? And then Will is like a predator, so he was like a big cat, a sort of panther, and tried to just imbue them a little bit with each of those animals.
Well, and I imagine it's quite freeing to play more of a loose cannon when the other twin is so subdued.
Well, it's really fun, to be honest. I mean, it's the best therapy session I've ever had for 6 weeks. You explore those darker, more dangerous aspects of yourself that we all have in us, and that we're all busy trying to keep under control, so we can go out and live with, be with other people, and go to work, and raise children, or whatever it happens to be. So Peter and Will are the yin and yang here. They're the two sort of sides of the duality of all our psyches, really. That's what was so fun about it.
Well, and you also have a really fun dynamic with Kelly MacDonald. What was it like to work those vastly different performances with her?
Kelly's a peach. She's absolutely a dream to work with, and a brilliant actress. Genuinely funny bones, really funny comic timing as well. And she was playing two roles as well in one person. That's a good example of how that duality sits in all of us. So her sexuality, her desires, her lust were awakened by bad boy Will, the vampire. And it turns out there's a history there, but I won't go too much into that. And then she's utterly sort of downtrodden and repressed and sort of deadened by this suburban lifestyle that she's living with Square Peter. So, Kelly had to adapt as well and play sort of two versions of Helen, of her character. So, a dream playing with her. She was brilliant, and she was brilliant in both.
Well, and the question I have to ask any actor who plays a vampire, what did you think of the fangs?
Well, sometimes the fangs, sort of get stuck in your lip like that as you push them together. And then when you open, you look like a sort of, I looked a bit, at times I felt I looked a bit like a mad old aunt, and I think I'm supposed to be a sort of sexy, scary vampire. I'm not sure if I'm pulling this off. But anyway, they were good. The ones we had were really simple. Sometimes they were put in later, CGI, but most of the time we just wore them. 2 little clip-ons, really simple, just on your canines. It's pretty easy.
So you didn't have any issues with like enunciation? Because I know sometimes they can be a little lispy.
No, actually, not with these ones. They were very, they were good. They were very elegant.
Bang technology has finally caught up. Were you able to keep them?
I do have them. Thanks for asking.
That is awesome. I'm so glad you were able to keep them. I also have to ask you, I saw that Wolf Hall is returning. Did you ever imagine that you'd get to re-enter that world?
Well, actually, yes. I mean, I didn't imagine it would happen 9 years later. We were staring at each other on the first day filming going, Jesus, this was a long time ago. How did that happen? COVID and all the rest of it had stuff to do with it. But, it was absolutely fantastic to be back in a slightly different part of the story. We all looked at each other and said, wait a minute, we're starting this season the day after last season finishes, and we're all 9 years older. So I need a little extra longer in makeup, please. But actually it's good because the world is deteriorating. Henry, the king, is deteriorating. Thomas Cromwell's rising star is actually waning, and so it all suited the sort of crumbling, slightly sort of tragic arc of the last part of the story.